when it comes to Brook, a kid Brook looks like a kid Blackbeard. I mean, come on. He looks so much like Blackbeard in this chapter. Actually, you know what? The song. If you look at the song, the lyrics within the super sad song about only bones remain, but something that, Brook has made into the blues, has made it a festive song. So it sounds like his mum, his dad, and his younger brother all died of starvation. But imagine if Brook and Teach are actually somehow related. I guess the age, how does the age work? Teach is too young to be actually the brother that supposedly died when Brooks was a child. But it could be like Brook isn't actually an uncle. Imagine if the brother actually did survive and he didn't realize, Brook didn't realize. Wow. Or Zebek. Imagine if Rocks could have been Brooks's... Yeah, because Rocks could have been... Is the age matching up? Oh my goodness, my brain is like firing now. How old would Rocks have been if he was alive? I don't know if we know Rocks Zebek's actual age, but I would have imagined that he's around... I'm sure he was around like 50s when he died. Or late 40s maybe. Okay, so imagine if Brook thought Rocks was dead, his brother died, but it ended up that he didn't actually die. Somehow like became a stowaway. Grew up in God Valley. Because Brook is... Let me think about this. Let me think about the age. We don't know... Yeah, because we don't know Rox's age right now. We don't know what Rox's age was when he died. But Rox was older than Roger during the God Valley flashback. And Roger would have been around... I think Roger was 53 when he died? Was 50? Goldie, Roger... He was 53 when he died, which means that, that's 22 years ago, so 75. Yes! Because Rox is a bit old, exactly, Rox is a bit older than Roger. Roger would be 75 right now if he was still alive, which means that Rox is probably around 85? I think he was at least 10 years older than Roger, which means, yeah! So if Brook right now is 90... Then I think it does line up. It makes perfect sense that Rox could have actually been Brooks's younger brother. Which then, in that case, that might explain why in the same Elbaf arc, we are seeing the Rox flashback. We are seeing Esperia. The fact that Brook looks like Blackbeard, singing about his younger brother that supposedly died. Wow, that would be crazy. Because I know that, okay, I think last chapter I was saying how King Leuven also looks like Blackbeard. King Leuven also looks like Blackbeard. And, in chapter 1183, it was a bit unclear because Brook was calling Leuven brother, and so it wasn't clear whether he was like an actual blood brother or not, whereas now we realize that no, it's actually just, that's just what Brook was calling him because he was like a big brother to him. So they're not actually related. But is it actually possible that Brook could be Rock's uncle? I mean, Brook could be Blackbeard's uncle and Roger's brother. Wow. Ha 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 ha. Yes. I mean, and oh wow. Ooh. What do we think? What do we think about it? Yes? I think it could add up. I think it could add up. Right? They look so alike. Brook at a young age looks so alike to Blackbeard. It's crazy. Yeah, exactly. It's all happening in the same arc. And also, hello, Anime Nakama. Sorry, I didn't notice you come into the stream earlier. Yes. And then that's why, exactly, we saw all of their flashback in God Valley as well. And it's all happening within this Elbaf arc. It's all happening within this Elbaf arc. And also Fred. Hello, Fred. Good to see that we've got our mod here as well. Oh, my goodness. I'm getting a rush. I am getting a rush. Yeah, he doesn't necessarily look like Blackbeard when he was in the Rumba Pirates as an adult, but I don't know, still. Yeah, so Rox was from God Valley. We know that God Valley was his hometown. But think about it this way. So we know that God Valley was also in the West Blue. God Valley was an island in the West Blue, and it was unaffiliated with the world government. So what could have happened is that it seems like, the Esperia has a darker side. It has an underbelly. And while Brook thought that his parents and his brother died of starvation, it could be the case that his family got kidnapped. They could have been the victims of human trafficking by this gangster cartel that clearly exists in the underbelly of Esperia. It could be that they were stowaways and they just happened to run away to try and escape their poverty, and somehow Brook might have just gotten left behind because, Brook could have been busking at the time. He could have been stealing glances and, sneaking up on the music school at the time. For whatever tragic reason, Brook could have been left out and Brook got left behind. And so he thought that his family died and that he's the only one to remain. Only bones get left behind. He's the only one. He's the only one that got left behind. He doesn't even realize what that means, that getting left behind wasn't just getting left behind on Earth. It's actually that he got left behind on Esperia while his family escaped. Because they're both in both kingdoms. Both kingdoms are in the West Blue. Oh my goodness, Anime Nakama. You would die of laughter if Moulin Rouge is cabaret themed. You know what? I can't believe I didn't even make that connection. I did not even make that connection. That's so... Oh my goodness, it's like right there in your face. The only way that I was reading it is like Muron. I was just reading moron. Moron. My bad, but yes. Oh, wow. Sink or swim, the irony that the west blue, where the sun sets, set up the east blue, where the sun rises, and Luffy to become the sun god is kind of ironic. No? I love that connection because clearly we are getting connections between Nika and Isperia. Between Nika and Isperia. Like, we saw Brook do the Nika pose last week. The Isperia, again, Isperia is the land of instrument makers. And the warrior of liberation dances to the drums of liberation. Oh, sorry. Good night. Thank you so much for joining us, Elizabeth. Have a lovely evening. Enjoy your weekend, and then we'll speak next stream. But check out video when you wake up tomorrow morning. But yes, please, thanks so much for joining us. What was I saying? Yeah, so it's the drums of liberation. Even if you look at some of the poses in this chapter, I feel like it does look a little bit like Nika poses. They're like half Nika, like, you know, you still see when they're fishing, Brook is up in the air with his arm up. When he's explaining how delicious his grasshoppers and frog soup is, look at him like jumping up in the air, like bouncing up in the air. That's exactly the pose that Luffy was in during Wano. You know? Oh. And then Shuri is obviously linked to the sun god Nika as well. I feel like Isperia might actually even be involved in, you know, the origin story of sun god Nika. It could be that like Isperia is somehow the home of the original sun god Nika. And then that could go back to what you were saying about how it's the West Blue that set up the East Blue. But actually, it could be that, yeah, yes, exactly, because in the West Blue could be where, but like, and think about it this way, because if Nika is somehow linked to Isperia, it makes sense because Nika, the sun god of the first world, did unfortunately fail. He unfortunately died. We know that the first world ended in doom. The second world also ended in doom. So it makes sense that the Nikas of the West set, the sun set on the Nikas of the West. Whereas Luffy, as the sun god Nika from the East, is where the sun rises, because Luffy is going to be the one to bring about the dawn. Yeah, exactly. The old god set in the west, and then the new god rose in the east. It seems like Fred and I are having the same wavelength at the moment. And it does line up. It does line up with, you know, the backstory of how Brook, what happened to Brook as well. It's so sad that Brook is like all of these Straw Hats having these multiple sad backstories. But if you go back to the original backstory that we knew about Brook and what happened with the Rumbar pirates, Brook was left alone in the dark. in the darkness, again, only his bones remained, which I think is exactly the same thing, which is, you know, the song that he's singing in this chapter. Only his bones remained. But Luffy is the one that brought light back into his world. Luffy's the one that saved him as he was sailing alone for 50 years in the dark. And Nika brought light to his darkness. Wow. Man. Brook's life, nothing but tragedy after tragedy. Yeah, and the same childhood, exactly the same junkyard childhood. No wonder the Brook and Luffy connection just goes great. Wow. Well, I like this idea as well. Personally think this is how Imu and Joy Boy met. I definitely think that there are links between, like, there's a reason why Oda is showing us this flashback here at Elbaf. You know, this Gunko backstory, it has to be related. It has to be related to what's going on at Elbaf. And why Oda is showing us all of this now. Like, in the Elbaf arc, where they worship the sun god Nika, we had the God Valley flashback. The God Valley flashback that introduced us to the Davy Jones legend. To the Davy Jones legend. Davy D. Jones. Brook could be Davy D. Brook. Davy D. Brook. How do we like that? Davy D. Brook, the Soul King Brook, is the Davy D. Brook. Wow. Amazing. It could even be why. Going back to the idea about, like, if Brook and Rocks are related, it could actually be why Brook has grown up in this junkyard. Why Brook's family was poor is because he was a Davy clan member. And we know that the Davy family have been persecuted throughout history. So it could be how they ended up so poor, because they like the rest of their family could have been in God Valley. Somehow just Brook's immediate family ended up in Hesperia, but they were poor, they were persecuted. Wow. Oh man. Oh, Tyrannos. Okay, thank you so much for joining us as well, Tyrannosaur. I hope you have a lovely weekend. Go, get your sleep. Go enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you again very, very soon. Davy D. Brook. Huh. Which is why, the music. Oh my goodness. Why we're getting both introductions in the Elbaf arc. Growth Stonks, hello. Everyone, Growth Stonks, say hello to Growth Stonks in the chat. I released a video just last night discussing one of Growth Stonks' theory. So make sure to check it out if you haven't already. Like I said, I'm going to share the link again before we leave, before we finish up in the stream. And then I'll pin it so that you guys can find it. You know what? I'll pin it now because you don't need the chapter anymore, because we've all read the chapter together. So give me a moment. Let me share the link. Alright, I hope you found it. You know what's crazy? Is that King Leuven finds Brook's laughter odd and funny. He calls Brook's laugh odd. But really, we know the yo-ho-ho-ho. Yo-ho-ho-ho, 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 yo-ho-ho-ho. Why? Is that just because Leuven isn't accustomed to pirates? So he just doesn't know the pirate song? How did Brook come to know? Is it just, it can't be a coincidence that Brooks's laughter, yo-ho-ho-ho, is his laughter? I think this is all going back to the fact that, so we know that Bink Sake, that is Joy Boy's song. Could go even older than that, but likely Joy Boy's song as the first pirate. That is the pirate's anthem. And we know that Joy Boy and Davy D. Jones is somehow linked because Rox mentioned it in the same breath as each other. So it could be that that's how Brook knows the song, and that's how Brook has taken yo-ho-ho-ho as his laughter because of his Davy Jones lineage, of his Davy D lineage. That might have been a family song. That might have been a song sang by his family all throughout his life. Because he sings it as well in his, even in his original song, From Frogs to Cattle. In his song about of the dead you'll find only of the dead you'll find only bones get left behind. Yo ho ho, yo ho ho ho. That's crazy because it's crazy because in both ways, like the songs, Bink Sake, and in this case, only bones get left behind. They're like, in this case, Brook singing a song about only bones get left behind is actually his life song. It is a story about his life, a life that he doesn't like. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy almost, because Brook, that's exactly what ended up happening. As his Rumba pirates died and as all his friends passed, he did the same thing. The Rumba pirates did the same exact thing that a younger Brook was doing as he was faced with his own death at 11 years old, singing in the hopes that would, make him happier and not make the prospect of dying seem so sad, seem as dark, which is exactly what the Rumba pirates did with Bink Sake. And so not only is that a self-fulfilling prophecy and him making a song about the story of his own life, Where was I going with this? Where was I going with this? But when it comes to Bink Sake is actually a song of hope. It's a song of life. This is the song of death, but Bink Sake is the song of life. And yet, that same yo-ho-ho is a critical ending in both songs. Huh. A song that Mama Brook sang for him while he was still a baby. I think exactly it. Gonna see. Let me bring up Bink Sake. Let me bring up Bink's Sake. Yo ho ho ho, yo ho ho ho, yo ho ho, yo ho ho ho, yo ho ho, yo ho ho ho, yo ho ho, yo ho ho ho. Sorry, what did I miss? Oh, hello. Sorry, I just realized that I missed that T times 3's bootleg covers subscribed. Sorry I missed that, but thank you so much for subscribing. Growth Stonks has been a member for 15 months. Congratulations, Growth Stonks. Again, please remember to go watch Growth Stonks' video at the end of this one. Kendall called herself a devoted blade. Like, you know what? And not only, but like, look how sad this is. Not how sad. Look at how sad this is. Kendall had become was Leuven's beloved blade, a devoted blade. Gunko Shuri has become the god's blade. Has become the god's blade. The fake god's blade. Wow. And Zod, thank you so much for resubscribing in the land of Twitch. Let me bring up Bink's Sake. Oh my god, you guys. You know what's crazy? You know what is crazy? Okay, so Anime Nakama, you were just saying this. This is like uncanny. Unfreaking canny. So looking up Bink Sake, I was looking up the chapters where we were introduced to Bink Sake, and that's exactly what the chapter title is called. Chapter 488. Chapter 488 is actually called the song of... Were you saying that because you knew? Were you saying that because you knew that it's called the Song of Life? Chapter of 488, where Brook is singing it by himself and he's reminiscing what happened. The flashback of all of them dying, when we get like all the lyrics, to the Bink Sake song. And we're in that, yeah, it's the chapter title of 488 is the Song of Life. And in this case, his own song. This one is his song of death. It's his death song. Only bones remain. The link between them. Oh my goodness, Oda is just such a genius. Oda is just such a genius. Such a genius. Wow. Both songs with yo-ho-ho-ho as well though. There's something there. There is something there. Brook being a Davy D. Brook. Davy D. Brook. Singing about the song of death. And it makes sense as well. Oh my god, it makes sense because remember, we know what is a characteristic? What is a characteristic of the D family as they die? Come on, guys. What is it? What is it? What is it? It's this smile. And look at him. I know that it's not like he's not actually smiling, but as he's singing, that is an upside down smile. Is this too much of a stretch? But look at his mouth. Like that is usually we see D's like the smile like this, but Oda has done it reverse. It's a reverse. Look at that wide D. Look at that wide D. I feel like at this point, Brook a D. Brook is a D. It's that same mentality that he's not scared of death. You know, he's accepted it. Look at the way that he sings about death as well. It's the blues, you know? He sings about it. Oh, wow. My goodness, guys. Oda is cooking something for real. Oda is cooking something for real. Brook really had alcohol and coke at yeah, yeah, I mean, King Leuven, that was King Leuven's fault too. What 21-year-old is feeding an 11-year-old alcohol? What is happening? Like, what is happening? The coke, yeah, the curry powder, yeah. What is that? So what is that? Colored. Like they couldn't make a cheese powder or something? There's a reason why the food tasted so good, huh? You can always trust Oda to add in some sort of child abuse into his story. Look, that is true. That is very true that Luffy also had sake with his but like there is a big difference between kids their own age sneaking alcohol and, you know, emulating something that they find to be funny. There is a big difference between that and an adult. Someone who is an adult actually feeding a younger kid alcohol. There is a big difference between the two. The level of responsibility is very, very different. Basically, yeah. So child abuse, Matricide. Two things we can count on. Well, not matricide, just the murder of mums. Mum's dying. Mum's dying is the way that should be put.